Flash Season 2, Episode 10, Potential Energy. This is definitely a cool episode to come back to, but it certainly had some pretty interesting surprises throughout the episode. And there are really like three big surprises. One, of course, is the fact that Patty was just gone at the end of the episode. She's just like, alright, well, I'm out of here. Like, we'd never really got that story where it was like she'd been thinking about that or anything like that. It was just all done in one episode. We saw the envelope, and she was like, "Well, got accepted, got revenge. I'm out of here," and that was pretty much it. The second thing was actually Wally West, because I didn't expect him to be kind of a dick in this episode. He really was. Like, Wally's, the funny character. He's typically funny like Barry is, but his jokes were kind of douchey in this. And like when Singh is like, your dad's a great detective. He's like, apparently not, and he calls Barry like the White Shadow and stuff like that. Although that was closer to being a joke, because Iris does mention that they've called him that before. But it was like, man, he's kind of a dick, and he's like insanely mean to Joe, even though Joe had nothing to do with the fact that him and his mom were all alone all that time, because his mom, the drug addict, took off. So it's like he's putting all this crap on Joe, and it's like, man, he's like 100% mad at the wrong person, because his mom is the one that took off, and all this other stuff. So it's all on her, to be totally honest. Like, we all know that, but it was like, man, he's just super mad at Joe, and he's being mean and stuff. And it's like, man, he's not funny or anything. It was cool that he was street racing. I mean, it's illegal, but that was a cool little moment. But I was surprised that he wasn't as friendly and stuff. Like, it was totally different. Like, I think it was the first scene that he's in since we see him from the fall finale. Like, that one scene, it's like he shows up at the door, and he goes in, and it's like, oh man, they're gonna try to connect this family together and stuff. And then this episode starts up, and he's like, this guy's not a great detective. He didn't even know I existed, and all this other stuff. I'm like, man, he's not joyous. There's nothing fun about this at all so far. But I'm sure that'll change. It's starting to change by the end of the episode, of course. But it surprised me. It was very interesting. I did love to see when he got caught, when Joe was at the street race. And I was like, man, I guess he's a better detective than he was expecting. So that was kind of funny. And I knew he was a street racer as soon as the guy called him tail lights. I don't know where I heard that before. I know it wasn't Fast and Furious, because I've never watched those. But I've heard it before, like when you race for tail lights, that means you race, whoever loses has to give up their car. And so I knew we were going to get a street racing scene. I was like, as soon as he said that, I was like, alright, that's going to happen somewhere in this episode. So it was interesting to see that. It was kind of cool, honestly, because he talks about how no one will race him, because he's so good at racing that he's basically just taking people's cars all the freaking time, and that's how he's trying to take care of his mom. But it was really interesting. I like that idea, but I'm sure we won't see too much of that, because of course it's illegal, and Joe's going to try to take care of whatever the woman's name is. I forgot her name. But he's gonna try to help her out and stuff. But I don't know where their relationship is going. I mean, I guess I know where it's going, because it's Wally West. He's at some point, probably soon. I think he's supposed to be. I don't remember if he's supposed to be Kid Flash. I don't think he is in this season, so that probably won't be until next season. But I don't know. It was very interesting to see his character be so different than what I'm used to, which is just a younger version of the Flash. He makes all the jokes, and he's just silly and stuff like that. That's pretty much who he is. So I was really surprised to see that. Like, Barry isn't as jokey as he normally is when I've seen him, in the cartoons and stuff. And then Wally is just like the reverse of what I've seen. So very surprised about his personality. But I'm looking forward to seeing that develop, because for now it kind of made me not like him, to be totally honest. It was like, man, it kind of makes me not like him whatsoever, because he's, especially the like being mad at Joe when it was clearly his mom's fault for taking off. And I kind of wonder, honestly, if he even knows about any of that stuff, because it seems like I don't know, like I doubt she'd lie, but I mean, she also ran from their entire family, so she could have easily been like, yeah, I don't know what she could possibly say. I mean, she can't say he took off, because you got two people who can clearly go against that. But well, at least Joe, because even Iris thought, her mom had died a long time ago. But I don't know. It's just interesting. Maybe not like him, to be totally honest. But I'm sure that'll change over time, and it'll be totally fine. Once he has super speed, I'll be like, sweet, just someone else to run around and enjoy with superpowers. But I don't know. I mean, it was interesting. It was cool to see this different side of Wally West, a side I've never seen before, and I'm really curious to see how that does change over time. And they made, I think it was, I think it was during the final talk that Wally and Joe were having. They made like a million super speed puns in there. Like it was something. It wasn't like a lot of puns. They weren't exactly puns, but they kept saying stuff revolved around speed or going really fast or doing stuff too quick. And I was like, they're saying that like they dropped like 4 different terms for basically super speed, and I was like, that's weird that they did, they just did that. But I thought that was kind of interesting. It was something I picked up. I think it was when they were at the drag race. Or no, it may have. I think it was when they were doing like the final dinner scene. I was like, they just said something revolved around speed like 4 or 5 different times, and it was just it was very interesting to me. The final third thing that surprised me was Reverse Flash, and I knew he was coming back into the show. I just didn't know it was going to be like the very next episode, like the first episode back. Even though, of course, it was the very end. I didn't know he was going to be in this episode specifically, and then like the next episode is called The Reverse Flash Returns. So it's going to have a lot to do with him, and I'm really looking forward to that. And it just surprised me that it was so quick. And the other thing that really surprised me, honestly, I knew it was Reverse Flash, but I honestly just figured, oh, it's going to be Reverse Flash from Earth 2, and that's how they're going to play that, and it's like, that's how he's back. But this makes it even cooler because it's not just, Reverse Flash from Earth 2 future, it's the actual Reverse Flash from the future who should not exist whatsoever because they seemingly destroyed that entire aspect of from the comic books because Eddie killed himself, and so he should Aobar Thawne should not exist as a human being, and I thought that was really awesome. I also love the fact that they do bring the original actor back, so he's actually going to get some time in the series because that was something I was like, man, that kind of sucks. Like he gets to be the actual Reverse Flash, but he's in literally one episode, and then even I think it was like even halfway through that one, he had already transitioned into looking like Wells. So it's like, man, that kind of sucks for that guy as an actor. But it's kind of cool now that he's back, and there's just a million things. Who knows? And the crazy thing about it is, even though he's still the Reverse Flash, which means he should still be evil, he could technically just be the Reverse Flash, but still be a good guy. And maybe in the future someone else takes the name up of Flash and they're the villain because I mean people become other superheroes all the freaking time, like Robin becomes Batman and stuff like that, and maybe that happened and that person who took over as the Flash just became a villain, so a hero rose as the Reverse Flash, and they could easily do it that way. And I don't know if that's going to be the answer or what, but I'm really looking forward to finding out how he exists and exactly what they're going to do with his character, because he could still be a villain, which he's Reverse Flash, so that's kind of what I'm leaning towards. But during the ending scene, it was like he was kind of lost in nowhere. He didn't know where he was, so it wasn't that automatically said like this isn't the same storyline as, oh, he went back in time because he wanted to kill Barry's mom. That it all in that question was like, okay, he doesn't know where he is, so this wasn't planned for him to go back and kill Barry's mom. So a lot of questions up in the air right now, but I'm very excited for that. Um, the rest of the episode, like the turtle, pretty cool villain. I thought that was very interesting visually how they did that, where because of Barry's super speed, he could continue to move through like these pulses that kind of slow people down, and he'd have to fight through it, and he built up his speed and stuff, and that was kind of a big deal because of course um, Earth 2 Wells wants to try to get him stronger so that he can help Zoom take his abilities. But I don't know where that's going to be headed. He's still, and at the end, and it kind of brought up, it made me wonder, like, okay, there are a lot of different possibilities for what they can do, either for Zoom as a villain and make him stronger, or against Zoom. And it seems like they have a couple of different things that can go against him at this point. One is, of course, the crazy automatic lobotomy that Wells gave to the turtle at the end of the episode, where I'm guessing he took out that chunk of his brain that allows him to have um, his power, allows him to be, basically be a metahuman. So I'm really looking forward to seeing Wells use that. I'm assuming he's going to use it on himself and try to stop Zoom. But if they figure it out, that could be how they actually end up saving um, the other guy. I totally forgot his name because it's been so long since I watched it. I just forgot his name. Um, but it could be how they save the other guy from Earth 2, the Earth 2 Flash. Um, so I'm looking forward to how they're going to play that, because they mentioned that he's dying and he can't survive unless he gets his powers back. Clearly, when he hugged Caitlin, he was like, yeah, let's kill him. He doesn't think they can stop Zoom still, so, he's not exactly confident. But now they have this weird thing where it's like maybe Wells can develop this power or reverse engineer it to give himself speed, and then we have like three people with speed going up against Zoom, which still may or may not be enough, especially if Zoom takes somebody else's power. Um, but I don't know. They've kind of opened up a lot of possibilities now, and this could also be how Wally ends up getting powers, because initially he did it himself, where Wally recreates the accident that gave Barry his powers, and that's exactly what Wally does. He just recreates it, and it's like, boom, I got super speed because I just put the same chemicals together and gave myself powers. So it could kind of be that way, where they, by accident, give Wally powers. I don't know what's going to happen, obviously. Just, there's so much stuff going on, especially with, them doing crossovers with Arrow, and now we have Legends of Tomorrow coming up this week. So there's so many different things, and how timing goes and all that stuff is, I'm never sure if, because it's so it's such a group thing now. It's not just, oh, it's the Flash and they could do this or do that. It's like, if they do this, this will happen in Arrow and this will happen in Legends of Tomorrow. If this happens in either of those shows, it'll affect Flash. So you never really know where certain stuff is going to go, because they got three things just rolling off all at one time. So it's like, I don't know, because so many little minor aspects from another show can have ripple effects in this show. So a lot of different possibilities. I have no idea, but Wells is clearly going out on his own. He's going to try to develop this power. It could give him super speed. It could give him the Turtles' powers. It could give someone else super speed, or maybe the Turtles' powers. Who knows? But I'm looking forward to seeing whatever they have coming up. I'm very excited for this Reverse Flash episode. Because there are just so many possibilities with this alternate future and how he even exists. And maybe he was running through time, and as it warped around him, and then poof, he ends up in the wrong, timeline in general. So who knows? But I'm looking forward to it. Of course, definitely want to know what you guys thought about this episode. So please comment below. Let me know your favorite parts, least favorite parts. And like I said, there are a lot of different things that happen in this episode. And then we have just the two crazy moments at the very end. So I definitely want to know, for one, what you guys think is going to happen with, I guess, this new timeline version of the Reverse Flash. Is he going to be a good guy? Is he still going to be a villain? Is he going to help against Zoom? I have to assume that that's what's going to happen, is he's going to help stop Zoom. Um, but what's going to happen with him? And, of course, what is going to happen with Wells? Like, is he going to develop powers for himself? Is it accidentally they're going to try to do that and give them to somebody else? Maybe make Zoom stronger by accident, which I doubt would happen. But that could be the case. I don't know. It depends on what's happening with the Reverse Flash. If he does end up deciding to help them, they would have two speedsters versus Zoom. And then it's like, oh, I stole this thing and now I'm even stronger. And it's still, even for two speedsters, still a bit of a challenge. So a lot of possibilities. But I definitely want to know what you guys think. So please comment below, let me know. And thanks for watching.